Joey Bosa seems like he could get cut by the Chargers. We've heard for a while that the Bosas have wanted to play together. If he's an unrestricted free agent, Nick Bosa seems like he's, he wears many hats on this team. He's the defensive end. He's the defensive coordinator. He's the general manager sometimes. He might go out and sign Joey Bosa himself. Do you think the Niners they wouldn't have to trade for him. Max Crosby's out there. Myles Garrett's out there. But this guy they could just sign. He's also not as good as the other guys. What do you think?
If they could sign him, yeah, they'll get him. For sure. If he's released, for sure. Because, yeah, like you said, they don't have to trade. They don't have to give up draft picks. They can get younger with the draft picks. And then you have like that. Obviously, like we've said, he's not as good as Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. Myles Garrett has said he wants an extension wherever he goes. Max Crosby is probably going to want, something to sweeten his deal. Joey Bosa, if he gets released, is not going to want something extra, is not going to want bells and whistles. So, in my opinion, yes, you'd sign him for sure.
Can I make an argument against signing him? Dude, okay, here's the argument against it.
Yeah.
He's finna be 30 in July.
Yep.
This past year, he played 14 games, had 5 sacks. Year before that, he played 9 games, had 6.5 sacks. Year before that, he played 5 games, had 2.5 sacks. He hasn't played 16 games since 2021 when he had 10.5 sacks. I don't know, man. I feel like his body might be starting to go.
But don't you? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you could sign him on like a 1 or 2 year prove it deal, don't you think he'd kind of be worth it?
Is he better than Leonard Floyd?
What if you just have both?
What if you just had fucking Myles Garrett? Like, what if you got serious? Like, if you went and got Max Crosby, yeah, it would take you have to trade for him, but like, he's better than Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is way better than Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa is way better than Joey Bosa. But I would take Max Crosby over Nick.
You think, really?
Max Crosby gives you the same effort for 95% of the defensive snaps. Nick Bosa plays 75%. Max, I don't like Nick Bosa's game. Really. He overruns the quarterback. You can always get him on jet sweeps and bootlegs.
Oh yeah,
he's
the read option
and he
shit
gets pressure, but he misses tackles and he slips and falls.
Dude, the read option stuff, that stuff kills me. Like in the Chiefs Super Bowl, 4th down, has Mahomes dead to rights in overtime to win. And dude, that was the biggest thing is I was like watching the discourse on that Super Bowl and everyone's like, Purdy this, Purdy that, Kyle this, Kyle that. I was like, are we just ignoring that our defensive player of the year, we just made the highest paid defensive end in the league? Just let Mahomes walk by. He was right in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no way they're not going to keep her with Mahomes on 4th
And then after
down.
the game, he blamed Steve Wilkes, who got fired. And then this year, and one of the Niners' signature wins over freaking Tampa, he had the signature play of getting he escorted Baker Mayfield across the field. That was one of the most incredible plays of Baker Mayfield's career. And Bosa was just hanging around. It was a bad look, dude. I kind of like the idea of trading for Max Crosby because that opens the door for you to trade Bosa next year. I don't really want Bosa that much longer. He's overpaid, and I think he's trending down.
Has there ever been a 3-team trade in the NFL?
They should do one.
What if
How come trades are so different from league to league?
What if you did that? What if you did some sort of 3-team trade where you gave Nick to the Raiders, right? Because they're rebuilding. So what if you gave them Nick for Crosby, and you try to do a second? We offer a 3rd pick. They give us a 2nd. You use that 2nd pick to then try and trade for Myles Garrett. Use our 1st and that extra 2nd for Myles Garrett. And then you have Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. You get rid of Nick Bosa and his massive contract. And then you just draft a tackle or a nose tackle in the 2nd round because we didn't have to use ours. We used the Raiders.
I like that. Shady Luke says, I see people are still making the same mistake of sleeping on mobile quarterbacks. Yeah, I think people always crush mobile quarterbacks coming out of college. They're like, well, you're not a finished product. Right. Okay. But if you improve,
Jalen Milroe is an athlete that he's Denard Robinson. He can throw the ball, but he's not.
Here's the thing, though. If you compare Milroe's passing numbers, at all of his numbers, to Jalen Hurts' numbers at Alabama, very similar. The difference is Hurts had that extra year where he left and went to Oklahoma and had great numbers, and he was super efficient. And I don't know that Jalen Milroe could do that, but I don't know that he couldn't. He just doesn't have those reps.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like Hurts was a second-round pick and Milroe won't be.
I just think, dude, Jalen Milroe's just so bad at throwing. Like, I think that's the issue. Like,
That's a problem.
Jalen Hurts wasn't great. He was like an average thrower. So I think that's why everyone was like, oh, maybe we can make it work with Jalen Hurts. Milroe is a bad thrower of the football. Like, he is bad. Jalen Hurts was like at least average coming out of college.
I'm still a Milroe fan. I won't quit him.